side Shermans, and anti-personnel mines as well, and just generally slow off the infantry. So we see a group of Germans here, and they're planting the electronic sort of tower mine. It's a good place to put it. It looks like the Allies will be funneled into this position. The German troops on the outside, the Allies are going to be advancing through this position, and they're going to level this area with these tower mines. Tower mine is a pressure-sensitive So the Germans here will lay this mine very, very carefully, and it's a disc shape. It's about a foot in diameter. Second pressure pad on the top there. Now, when this is pressed down by a drum, it will explode, of course. If you actually push your foot on it, it probably won't explode. You would like to try it out. And the key to laying mines is to hide them. The Allies will know there's mines in the area, of course. And really, mines are casualties all around the world. Mines that are 40, 50 years old. Various ways to get rid of mines, of course. The Allies invented all these little funnies, all these tanks with chains that we swung around on front where they carried the mines on the beaches of Normandy. You can use the old technique of mine detecting, metal detectors, of course. You can even use an artillery barrage as well to actually blow up these mines if we're in a safe area. So the Germans laying mines in this area against the Allies. Interesting note about the German uniform, taking it quite easy in this beautiful late June finish of sunshine. It was quite an easy process for the German Wehrmacht and France, of course. Enjoying the French hospitality and the food and the wine. Of course, they became the brunt of the Allied invasion. Allies did tremendous job in giving the Germans the main attack going to come into Calais in the shortest route. It took one of the most difficult, the longest routes to and really there wasn't the Germans place there to the Allies. So it was quite an easy Germans, but of course at this point, late June, probably one of the worst coastings. Germans take the lines very successfully, taking position back into the defences. And of course the Allies will probably be seeing all this presence in the area. Explosive shells, smoke shells or anti-personnel shells as well. So it's being directed with fire to decide what type of shells to put down. Probably anti-personnel or explosive shells here. In some from this German position and clear this minefield.
I said you can't watch.
Very effective artillery piece, easily to transport from the battlefield in theatre. Could be transported by horse behind an armoured car, or something in that order. Very low silhouette to them as well. And on the front of the artillery piece there is a some protection from small arms fire. Any good
This is an awful.
level nonetheless, the armoured shield was quite effective. So we'll see how these 25 pounders get top of the German position. Did suffer a lot of casualties because they were very lightly armed. Didn't have any heavy weaponry with them at all, but they're using a bit of infantry support behind them. And they're getting instructions here. These mines, they're really wary of these telemines. And the last thing you want is to go over these in a Jeep or a Dingo. It would just absolutely destroy that Jeep or Dingo and kill everyone inside as well. So really the only way to deal with mines now is to use this a mine detector. Now a mine detector actually senses anything metal underneath, and it will give up a little signal in the earpieces there. So this was the actual only safe path that the Allies can use. And this is what mines were used for, very effective at slowing up the infantry. The last thing you want to do is to enter a minefield that has not been cleared. The other way of doing it, of course, is to actually probe the ground with your bayonet. I think the Major has the right idea there, not to wander through a minefield that hasn't been cleared. There's only one path through this, and the commando behind that knows this. And the commando there with the green beret on, you can imagine how difficult this is. Your next tread could be your last one. To step on an anti-personnel mine would mean you would lose your leg. It wouldn't kill you, but to lose a leg will take out 3 soldiers, because you'll need another 2 soldiers to bandage the wound and to take you away. So one mine can actually take out 3 soldiers. Following behind it, of course, we've got the Dingo with the path cleared. Is he going to spot this telemine, or is he going to stand on it? I think it's beeping. There's a telemine there. Stop the advance. And this is a very difficult bit here to disarm this. Quite easy to actually disarm. It's just a case of unscrewing the fuse. But you know, the last thing you want, there could be anti-personnel mines around there as well. And he was actually using the bayonet or the Fairbairn's dagger here to actually probe into the ground and to take out that telemine and render it harmless. High explosive device, one slight slip and the whole lot goes up. Very difficult job indeed, and this was given to these pioneers, and he continues along the minefield, clearing this. Germans really keeping their heads down at the back. They're really crossing the fingers here. A few of these telemines are going to go up and not be detected. Said he will save them a few jobs as well. Dingo's still intact. It looks like that mine is pretty much defused at the moment. Commando there's working on this, and he'll be trained up how to do this in the dark. He'll be blindfolded and working on mock-up telemines. The rest of the area looks pretty clear. What's that telemine looking like now, sir? Is that clear? Still not happy with it? Needs a bit of extra digging out. Don't want that blowing up, of course. He's stagger away, lifting out the mine, the fuse. Mine detecting straight ahead as well. The rest of the army being held up by this minefield, and this is exactly what the Germans wanted, of course. They're a very thorough job. It's actually safe. Should you give me a round of applause? Telemine safe. putting it right out of the way there, and this paves the way for the infantry to move in now. Minefield has been cleared. The Dingo moving forward. Now the Dingo here would only be armed with a Bren gun, which is really a light machine gun, LMG, and the infantry following the clear route behind. Some airborne soldiers in the red berets and the Willis Jeep as well. This is a very light reconnaissance, probing attack into the German position, just to test how many Germans there are there, what strength. The fuel dump intact, which is excellent. You can imagine how difficult this would be for soldiers. You know the Germans are in there, there's mines in the area. Now the Germans are opening up. They decided to open up. The Allies got a counter-attack. Let's see how they get on. Now even at this point in the war, the Germans are still extremely motivated troops. They're not going to give up an inch of this French countryside without a fight. So let's see how the airborne get on, the paratroopers. And the 61st Reconnaissance as well. With the Allies thinking here, it looks like a pretty dug-in German position. Remember guys, these are only lightly armoured troops. The last thing you want to do is to attack this German position with reinforced concrete, with just light weaponry. It's actually a suicidal thing to do. So reconnaissance guys are really just in and out and wait for the heavier artillery or the heavier infantry to move in with their tanks and stuff. Germans doing the right thing, I think, as well, just keeping their heads down. The last thing they want to do is to move out of these positions. In fact, they've decided to actually come out of the position and bring the attack to the Allies. There's a couple of casualties in the Allies there. This is what they don't really want to happen. I think the Major's there saying enough's enough, we're going to have to fall back here. These Germans have had the advantage of digging in. So the Germans counter-attacking now, ladies and gentlemen, and forcing the recon back. Few wounded, haven't taken many casualties, which is good. And they're returning fire as they retreat. Now the Germans retaking this minefield area. Allies using smoke, of course, to cover their position. As they retreat, they will be using the smoke to cover it. Now the Germans have recovered the minefield. Now let's see how the Germans get on against these Allies. Talking about the Daimler Dingo earlier on, it's excellent, and this is really what it's meant to do. It's you can actually swivel the seat around it as well, so you can actually steer it going backwards. Now let's have a look. They have called in reinforcements. It's the Americans. Let's give them a really good round of applause. Let's see how they get on against this German position. Now the Americans are airborne soldiers, and they're using their very agile Willis Jeep here to run amok in this German position. Really going to fire into them. Now the Germans again doing the right thing, just keeping their heads down, using their pre-dug trenches and dugouts to return fire to the Americans. Here they come again the second time around. Fuel dump still intact, no telemines there. Twice round, I think they're going to do another circuit round. It's pretty good, it's disorientating the Germans. All this fire being brought down onto them. Now twice round there. Now Now the Americans, of course, are airborne troops, so they'll have to travel as light as possible. So let's see how the battle's gone. The Germans have laid the mines, reconnaissance, called in the, had a go at the Germans, being pushed back. Germans have got complete control of the minefield in the centre of the battlefield. Americans had a go at the Germans with their Willis jeeps. Let's see what's going to happen now. The recon are going to have another go at them. With their dingo, they've re-equipped themselves. And so another attack from the British going in on the Germans again. A bit more motivated, they know what the Germans are like here. Again, just using that track right through the centre of the battlefield. That's been cleared of mines. Now the Germans don't want to see this here. The Allies using the dingo as cover. And that there's a Panzer Schreck there the Germans have got. They're lining it up against the dingo. They've fired it right at the dingo. That's a rocket-propelled bazooka. And it's the dingo's taken a direct hit in the engine. It looks like an oil fire. And even though the Germans are still motivated, they're retreating back to their main base against this withering Allied advance.
Are they pretending to be bad?
Now the Major there in his little red beret, leading his men from the front. You see the Denison smokes, absolutely fantastic camouflage in this French bocage countryside. We're talking about the Panzer Schreck that the Germans used to take out the dingo earlier on. This was developed from the American bazooka. The Germans actually captured an American bazooka in Tunisia in 1940. And they took this back to Germany and then developed their own bazooka called the Panzer Schreck, or the Tank Fist. Now the Major's there, signal for the Americans to come in. We're going to need a bit more support here. The Americans are coming in. They're going to do another attack on the Germans, I think, using their jeeps to support the Allies. Let's see how they get on. Here they go again. Give them a cheer as they go past, ladies and gentlemen. First time in England. I mean France. Americans have a lot of fire on top of these jeeps here. A lot of the jeeps really mounted a 30 caliber or even a 50 caliber machine gun. They're using their rifle fire from the Garants and the automatic fire from the Thompsons as well. And they're going to disembark here. Pretty safe. Now they're going to have a little confab here. What are they going to do to crack this German position? That's two assaults that actually failed here. Very heavily dug in the German position. You need a good chat about what's going on here. And I've actually just heard, because I'm in contact with the German radio, the Germans are going to keep their position and they're actually going to call in air support. Now air support is very, very rare here in Normandy. The Allies have complete supremacy of the sky. So to get air support for the Germans, the Americans did not like that Stuka. The Jericho sirens there, it's taken out all those Americans. A very rare thing to have a German aircraft in the sky here. Of course, the Allies have got complete air supremacy. The Spitfires and the Hurricanes and the Mustangs. So a lot of American casualties from that Stuka attack, but still they're going to attack this German base. Let's see how they get on. The fuel dump's still intact in the centre as well. The Major in talk with the CO, the officer from the Americans. Germans counter-attacking. Mortar fire coming in from the German position. I think seeing that Stuka in the sky there is giving the Germans a new lease of life, and they're starting to counter-attack as well. There's the officer in charge of the Americans there having a chat. I recognise with his single white stripe on the back of his helmet. in a bit of a dodgy position now, the Allies. A fair bit of casualties from the aircraft attack. Germans advancing down one side. Mortar fire coming in from the German heavy mortar. That would be an 81mm mortar, actually classed as a heavy mortar. And that'll be raining shells on this Allied position. Fuel still intact in the centre, which is fantastic for both sides. Now what are the Germans going to up to? Looks like they're regrouping at the back of the battlefield there. And there's Germans reinforcements coming in on one side of the battle there. And this is what the Allies do not want, this so-called pincer movement. The Germans very, very good at this pincer movement. The cauldron of fire. It looks like the Allies are starting to surrender in the middle there. This is not looking good. For you, Tommy, the is over. Now then, some prisoners there. These are fantastic prisons to have for the Germans. Probably one of the last victories they're going to have here. Some arms fire going off in the centre here. There's an officer escaping there with a pistol. He's been shot dead. There's a little fight going on in the middle there. And this is the main guy that they want in the centre here, this American officer. He's not looking a happy chap. You're going to get him marched back off to Germany. So he's get up there. Back to the fatherland for you. Now the Germans are very, very happy. They've still got the fuel dump intact in the centre as well. He's been taken off there by a senior NCO of the German Wehrmacht. He looks like a lieutenant. Oh no, he's going to run for it. What's he got in his pocket? It's a Mills grenade. He's going to blow up the fuel dump. Now, did the Germans look like that? It's still going up, it's on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, and I never like saying this, it is a victory for the Germans. Now, come back again tomorrow and it might be different. We're going to line up all the soldiers in